Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Yes, Tam-George, you were talking about how this process is working.
Yes, once you get to understand how the extractive economy works, it has implication for the environment, and it didn't start now. It's been on since 1958 when we got into commercial oil work. So there has been this corresponding impact on the economy. That's one part. And then Port Harcourt is also industrializing very fast, and so there's a tendency for this kind of carbon emissions, that then pollute.
What about state policies to ensure, to regulate the activities of these industries and even the extractive industries?
Yes, but you see, it's got to do with laws as well. For instance, you know that the extractive economy is supported by federal law. We have state control over certain environmental issues, but ultimately, how you enforce environmental impact work is up to federal law. The Petroleum Act of 1969, for instance, is still, the organizing law that regulates the industry. Is 45 years old. You would have expected that the petroleum industry bill, that has been the subject of debate, from the past Senate up to this point, would have been passed into law so that we would have, a more contemporary understanding on how to tackle environmental issues of this sort. But at the state level, at least, we have a very committed response to this kind of environmental issues. We are rethinking our own edicts within the state to see how we can better enforce environmental regulation.
Mr. Tam-George, I don't know, Mapoy?
Well, that definitely, that somehow enters into, the security environment which Nyota was talking about, because it would seem that you have quite a number of challenges on your hand, dealing with, physical challenges, physical environmental challenges on the one hand, and, making people and helping people understand that if we do not take control of certain things, if you do not stop, doing oil bunkering and, even the military as well, when they catch these people burning the products, and flaring them up in the air, also cannot be helpful to the environment. And so, you would seem that you have a plethora of issues to resolve. But let's look at the political environment as well, which is, which also borders on security in the state. One of the reasons why a lot of people believe that Rivers is tense is because of the political environment. You have said that the Rivers State government has given a lot of support to the Nigeria police, but it would seem that in recent times, the relationship with the Nigeria police has been pretty tense. How is that helping the security environment in the state?
Well, the issues are very clear. What we have always done, is to respond in the appropriate way as far as security issues are concerned. I do not know any governor, any public administrator in this political dispensation that has done as much for the joint security forces as much as Governor Wike has done. Where we seem to find tension has to do with perceptions. For instance, the Rivers State government is adamant that those who control our security forces should stick to their constitutional roles. They should leave politics to politicians and, focus on their constitutional mandate of providing law, providing, security for everyone in a non-partisan fashion. But when we see instances, when we observe specific instances where they seem to be going above and over and above their constitutional mandate, I think it is our responsibility to raise questions about their objectivity. Our own preference will be to continue to work with all security agencies. We give them as much financial and logistical support as we should give them. But what we don't want is a situation where security forces will dabble into politics, where they seem to be working to undermine the security architecture of the state itself.
Is it possible that you're thinking they're dabbling into politics because they want to enforce the laws? Is it possible that you are also misconstruing their actions?
No, for instance, we have specific instances where the governor has had, reason to petition against specific police personnel. He has sent 1, 2, sometimes up to 6 petitions to the Inspector General of Police. Not indicting the police as an institution, but specific personnel that have acted in a professionally wrong fashion. And he hasn't received any kind of response from the IG. And so our own preference, to repeat, is to work with all security forces. In fact, when you come to Rivers State, you see in all of these meetings, when they come on courtesy visits to the governor, I tend to be present physically with the governor. And his attitude is that of cooperation, accommodation, and a sense of working together. But when we tend to have elections, rerun or supplementary elections, our own, insistence is that let the police or the joint security forces remain neutral. This is a civil process. Let them remain neutral so that politicians can go about politics. Where we see that the line has been crossed, I think we have both a moral and constitutional obligation to speak out. And so there is no tension, in fact. What we want is that let the politicians play politics and let the security people also, limit the activities to what is mandated constitutionally.
Okay.